motherfucking Eagle Double G.
We are in the back cave. Hey, welcome everybody to what we would call an emergency episode of Whiskey and Wisdom After Dark. I'm here with the staff, minus one, J Love in Bastrop, Donnie Nolan in Tennessee, and my guy, Russell's really annoyed because our table's wobbling a little bit.
I'm trying to fix it.
And he already spilled beer on my laptop.
I did.
Ooh.
So far we've got it going on here. Gentlemen, let's start off. What are we drinking tonight, Donnie?
I am still midway through some Eagle Trace, but I've mixed it up with a little Eagle Trace. You can tell I've been drinking. I'm drinking Eagle Rare, but I did mix it up with some Buffalo Trace. So yeah, I'm doing Eagle Trace.
Oh, nice. J-Lo, what are you drinking?
Actually, I don't even remember what this is because I was over at the house watching NASCAR. Lost money on that motherfucker. But
They turned left.
Yeah, you know what? It's the most redneck fucking sport next to rodeo. I'm not saying anything bad about it. It was intense. There was wreck after wreck. It was the longest Daytona 500 ever in regards to the length. I think they did like some 218 laps.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
I heard it was a controversial ending or something like that, right? They didn't finish it or something.
It was crazy because the driver that I had, Larson, and they threw his ass into the wall. He was in second place, and I'm sitting here hooping and hollering over what I had no fucking idea. All I knew is I had a fucking dog in the race.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, boom, and it was 2 laps to go, and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
So I made I think it's Hogs 3 bourbon and Coke. That's
nice.
what I'm drinking right now. And then I've got a little in my Bigfoot flask here. I think that's Bullet that's in here. So that's what I'm drinking.
We are enjoying the Bud Light. Cheers. And also, we're going to be taking shots every now and then of just some 1800.
A little 1800.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good all around.
We're going to take a shot. We've got a little side game going, and we're going to see by the end of the podcast.
That's right.
If you guys can figure out why we're taking a shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's for every time that we mention LeBron being the GOAT.
Nah.
Then we'll never take a shot.
Nah.
We'll never do that. Let's see. I'm going to skip over the what the fuck moments because this is an emergency meeting of the minds here real quick first. And by the way, again, if for some reason this shuts off or goes off, it's because Russell spilled beer on my laptop.
Okay.
We're here in the garage and in our garage, and we have a special guest here, Miss Farrah Fawcett, sitting in.
Cheers.
It's not that cold, but they can cut glass. Dude, they are defunding the police in Austin, and those kids in Austin right now are going crazy. They're having races, they're blocking streets, they're rioting. It's a shit show in Austin, Texas. If you're listening or whatever, you can Google it right now. Russell showed me some videos, and I said, "Man, we got to get the boys on the podcast and talk about this defunding shit."
Well, I mean, Austin is a shithole in itself. It's become a cesspool for the left. It's become a cesspool for those that are, migrating from the West, especially from the California area, some Oregon, some Washington. But I knew that it was, I knew that it was going downhill years ago, even before Chief Acevedo left. And he's just a media whore to begin with. He came from California, in a big city, and he wanted to change things in Austin, and he did. I'm not saying that he did a lot of bad shit, because he didn't. He was a decent police chief, but he was an ambulance chaser. So wherever there was a crisis, he always had to be there. He had to have his face in the camera.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, he ends up leaving, and then he goes to Houston, ends up getting ousted out of Houston for regions that probably a lot of people don't want to talk about. But so now I don't even know where he's at now. Miami, that's where he went. He went to Miami. And I don't know, man. I feel for my brothers and sisters in blue. I really do, because they're hurting and they've been hurting for years. But when you have a city council that could give two shits or a fuck less about you, it makes it even worse. But I mean, we elect these people. We put these people in these positions. So I mean, they get what's coming to them. They've got a district attorney that could give two shits or a fuck less also. And I mean, he's turning away, I mean, career criminals. And then, sometimes, I mean, they are first offenders. I get that, but it's very violent crimes. Yeah. And it's just a slap on the wrist, and they don't even post bail. They just walk right out the fucking door. Yeah. So yeah. It's not Travis County. I call it Travesty County, because that's what it is. It's become such a just a complete and all around shithole for everybody that lives there. So, and then
J-Love, if you were still in law enforcement, and and I know there's a duty and there's certain things that you have to do,
correct,
based on your oath, but when you're in a situation like that where that the city council, that the mayor, that the DA, that most of the people in the city, I mean, because they've taken over basically the corner of South Lamar and Barton Springs. And I know you know plenty about Austin. I know Coach does.
Yes, sir.
And Donnie, I don't know how much you know about Austin, but that's one of the biggest intersections in the city. And if you're in law enforcement right now, and they're telling you to go out there, knowing that your supervisors, you're outmanned, you're outgunned.
Yeah.
Do you even go, or do you just stand back and go, you know what?
You've got so many men and women now that are that wear a badge, and they honestly should not be wearing a badge. You've got so many of these young men and women that have no idea what it is to be a law enforcement official. They have no idea what that badge means. They have no idea what that uniform means. A lot of these are just, punk fucking kids that were bullied in school. So then the only way that they could get a payback is by becoming a cop.
Yeah.
And
hey, Donnie, is this shit going on in Tennessee?
It's not. I mean, now, and I'm not in Austin. I don't live there. I don't profess to live there. I don't live in any of the states that have had this problem, luckily. But I did calm down for Thanksgiving. If you remember, I told you threw me some keys. I drove down to Austin, and I told you I was shocked by how many tents there were. I mean,
the homeless,
but that is kind of the start of it, because they start there, and then they move into defund the police. I mean, it sucks that that's the pattern, but it is. I mean, when the far left that elects bad DAs and with the Soros back stuff, it just goes on from there. But I'm very lucky and blessed to not have that here. I do want to correct J-Lo on one thing. He said what the police are, and it's not what they are, it's what they should be. They don't have the training to be what they should be. And I'm not really correcting, just kind of throwing it out there. What we had as police officers, and I knew a lot of them, my uncle was one, they had a ton of respect for you, and they were trained properly. And we don't have that now. And we don't have it because there's just such a shortage. I mean, they're not paying them great wages, and they're giving them 2 weeks training, and the 2 weeks training is basically do jumping jacks, go shoot a target.
Donnie, let me ask you this.
Don't kill yourself, you're great.
Donnie, let me ask you this. Me and Russell have had this conversation, not about the police, but we've had this conversation, me and you, out here in the garage and in different places. But if I'm going to wear a badge, or if I'm going to wear your construction company's cap, or if I'm going to wear your business logo on my chest, and if you don't give two shits about me, and you don't treat me with respect, and you don't look out for me, and you don't care about me as an employee, what the hell am I going to do? How am I going to do my job? I mean, and this is me. If I was a cop right now, and I'm all for the men in blue, whatever they want. I'm not gonna get pulled over and say no. I've got my right. You want me? Here's my stuff. Let's go to work. So I'm all about it. But if you're gonna treat me like shit, like this, and this is basically, to me, it seems like a slap in the face. Why am I gonna be in a hurry to go protect the city, the county, the town that I work for? If you're not gonna give a shit, put the beer over there so you don't spill it on my. Uh, but why am I gonna? Does that make sense or not, Don?
Oh, no, it makes sense. I mean, the big thing that I see is, one, the public has no respect for them right now, and that has to be earned, and it sucks. But they've kind of done it themselves, and I say they've done it, but the cities have done it more than the police officers themselves, because there's a ton of great police officers.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's also some bad apples, and the media is going to blow up the bad apples every single time. Yeah, you don't want to jump into fire, because you're not being respected, but in the same sense, they're not really protecting and serving. Most of their job is spent doing bullshit work and trying to hit a quota on fucking traffic tickets. And that, of course, detectives and different departments are different, but the average police officer is really just a ticket writing machine. And that sucks, because if you go look overseas, every freaking police officer is in a bright fucking neon car you can't fucking miss. And if you drive down the interstate, you're going to see black fucking and white SUVs that look like they just came out of the lot trying to catch you for a speeding ticket. That sucks. That we don't have a protect and serve. We want to try to trick you into giving us some money. And until that changes, whether that's FBI or that's, the local sheriff's department, it's not going to get any better.
Yeah. J-Love?
Well, it's even like with your local elections. I mean, it starts locally. I mean, again, it goes back to who we put in these positions. And as far as for the officers and to kind of coattail on what Donnie was saying about the training, and he's right. I mean, I didn't get a chance to finish, but he is right. I mean, you've got these individuals that are just running and gunning, and they're put through barely a 6-week course anymore. And there's no way that you could learn everything. There's no way that you can learn everything that you need to properly do your job and graduate and go out and do your job effectively.
So isn't that an oxymoron, though? We're rushing them to get somewhere so we can defund them.
Well, we're rushing them. Go ahead.
I think it depends on it depends on the jurisdiction. It depends on the geographical area. For instance, with the city of Austin wanting to defund the police, I mean, Austin has gone so far way left and batshit fucking crazy that their policies and everything that they believe in is everything that has migrated from the West. And they've brought that mindset and have infected those around them. And it's not just from the West. I mean, the now ex-city manager, former city manager, Spencer Cronk, he came from Minnesota, but he brought that bullshit and that ideology that he was taught from up there down here, and look where it got him. But it sucks because Austin is such a growing, metropolis, and there's so many people that are moving to the Austin area and even the surrounding areas, and we're feeling that effect out here in bumfuck Egypt. But
yeah, well, that's I want to get to that with Russell, because Russell just built a house in
right.
Belton, right?
It's in between Belton and Salado.
In between Belton and Salado, big beautiful home. He's on 35, right? Belton Salado's on the it's the 35 corridor. If this is happening here now, sooner or later, it's going to, it's got to. So what, Russell, you see this, and you're the one that showed it to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, you see this. Is this why this is what's going to happen when you defund the police. I mean, aren't you scared to death it's going to run up your ass here pretty quick?
I'm not. Well, the reason that I built my house where I built it was to get out of the city limits because the city of Belton, where I live currently, is pretty close to the city of Killeen, and the city of Killeen is very progressive, if that's what you want to call it. And a lot of those policies are moving into Belton. So I built outside the city limits, but absolutely scared of that. I have a really good friend of mine who is second in command, second or third. I don't know exactly what his position, but he's very high up in the DPS. Like basically has an office job. He does. He was in charge of the Vanessa Guillen investigation years ago, if you guys recall that. And what he said was these new officers that are coming in, they're not concerned about, not as much about physical fitness. They're not as concerned about how much do you know about the Constitution, the law. They're concerned about diversity training. They're concerned about, you know, how do you handle different groups of ethnicities and, you know, they basically want them to be community organizers, talk to people, not be forceful, don't use your weapon. And he's been in the force. He's 46 years old. He's been in, since he was 18. He's like, dude, as soon as I've got my pension at 100%, I'm out. I can't do this. This newer generation of police officers, kind of like Coach was saying, a lot of these guys are, hey, I was the guy that was bullied in high school. I'm going to be a cop. But even some of those guys can't even do it. It's these little pencil neck pussy. Like, you think back to something like 9/11 and you think about different things in our history where something goes down, well, everybody's running one direction and the police and the first responders are running toward the problem. When you get a bunch of people with this mentality, well, they're going to run the other way, and then the problem is just never going to stop. And quite frankly, these police officers right now, I don't blame them. I mean, if you're city manager and your mayor and your chief of police and the city council, they don't have your back. And then if you have to use deadly force or you have to do what you're supposed to do to defend your community, and the next thing you're going to end up is being in jail. And what do they do to police officers in jail or prison?
Yeah.
I'm out. Fuck it. I'm standing there, y'all. You do you, boo. I'm good. So, that's to answer your question, Coach. Yeah, I'm trying to
You
move.
do you, boo.
You do you, boo. I'm trying to move as far away as I can to get out of it, and hopefully by the time that I'm dead and gone, it's probably going to reach us. It's already starting to stretch its tentacles out closer to home. Austin's moving north, Colleen's moving east, Waco's moving south. Hopefully by that point I'll have a paid for house and my kids are grown and I can get an RV and go hang out in, I don't know, Tennessee. Well, but this is what happens though. It's the same thing with Tennessee, Florida. It's already happened in Arizona. It's happening here. All these people with these fucked up ideology, they move here because they don't like the taxes. They don't like the crime. They don't like the policies. And then they move here. What are the first thing they do?
Try to change the policy.
Hey, vote for Beto. I'm for Beto.
Yeah, they get their guy in.
It's like, it always reminds me, there's that scene in the movie The Matrix where they have Morpheus handcuffed, right? And the agent goes, what is the biggest virus on the planet? It's the human race.
Human race.
And it is. It's if you have that type of ideology and you move and you spread this garbage, this toxic ideology, you're a virus.
Yeah, it's the deadliest virus now.
It is.
Yeah. Donnie?
Oh, we can kill some shit. There's no doubt about that. I mean, we can tear everything up. But the problem is, like you said, it doesn't start with the police. It usually starts with local government and DAs and councilmen, stuff like that. And then they get in and start changing the policies from there. So, yeah, I mean, that's just something we're going to have to deal with. And we're going to have to, make sure we are, as a society, are holding up our end.
So I was talking to a Gen X dude, about 26, about
Gen Z.
Is it Gen
Gen
Z?
Z.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're Actually,
We're
you guys
gener-
are all Gen X's. I'm technically a millennial.
Yeah. Okay. So I was talking to this guy, and I called him up. He's like, "Whoa, what are you doing calling?" I'm like, "Well, I want to talk to you." And so we talked for a little bit, and then he texted me. He goes, "Dude," he goes, "I don't do calls. I do text messages."
Why the fuck do you have a phone?
Well, because of the text messages, and because it's we're in AI. It's a part of our being now. So I told him, I said, I said, here's the problem. So you say, Donnie, and I mean, we're all in agreement. It's who we vote in, and these kids, they don't care about voting. They don't give a shit about anything. I mean, we heard one of my best friends, a millennial vampire. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. It's that thought process. And I told this guy, I said, when is the last time that you received a written letter or you wrote a letter? I said, the problem with this generation now is there's no intimacy. There's no personable, there's nothing there. When we were growing up, we would fight, but we would hug and we would roll around in the mud and we drink out of the fountain and just different. These kids don't do that. It's all about texting what's quicker and what's better. And so to say, well, we need to vote these certain people in, dude, people like us are dying out. These other kids, and they're going to be able to control everything. And they are controlling everything. I asked him about the halftime show, and he goes, "Oh, that's just bullshit conspiracy. It's that nothing. The Illuminati's fake and all this." The dude came out dressed like the devil, and then Pfizer was the one that their ad was on the at the halftime show. So it was the devil, Illuminati, and then a Pfizer commercial. And I'm like, dude, you don't put that together. He goes, well, it doesn't affect me. I don't give a shit. So what the hell? I mean,
Well,
it's a lose-lose.
yeah, but well, think about it. When texting first came out, we all had cell phones probably in the early 2000s, right? How did you text? You had to hit 4 buttons to make a W, right? And so you would click, 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 and it can be convenient. But as far as texting goes now, like if I'm texting my significant other and we're in an argument or we're having a discussion, and I text something, there's no context, there's no emotion, there's no tone of voice, and then I'll say something, and then the next response, and you mean it in the most innocent, most inconspicuous way, and then what do you get back? Well, fuck you, you son of a bitch, and you're like, whoa, hold on, I didn't mean it that way. Stop the texting. And like you're saying about, back in the day when you wrote a letter and you sent it out in the mail, what did you do? You send it in care of, right? Mm-hmm. These people, and for that, because it's so intimate, and talking on the phone, you can explain yourself. And these days, texting is just, and they don't even speak now. They use emojis, and I don't know what the fuck. Half the time I'll get texts from people. I'm like,
so how the hell are we going to vote these people in if these kids? I mean, what do we do, J-Lo?
Bide our time, honestly. We bide our time until it's time for fucking Gabriel to blow that fucking horn and get me the fuck out of here. And I mean, we are a dying breed. We are, but if it's going to be to our own demise if something doesn't change. That's why I'm constantly on my kids about personal reflection and personal intimacy and having that interaction and making that phone call and writing that letter, even if it's just Mom, I'm going to the park. Not a message, an actual handwritten note. One, so I know that my fucking tax dollars are being put to good use, because Lord knows we have more fucking teacher in-service days around here. No wonder why these fucking kids are stupid. I mean, the teachers don't teach them shit. The only thing
bro, I'm going to say this to defend our teachers, because you and me have a lot of friends here. I'm going to say this to defend our teachers. It's the same way what they're doing to the cops. They don't pay them enough to babysit these kids. So why should they? Hey, Donnie, I was going to ask you this, and then J-Love, I want to come back to you, because I know I've been on this rabbit hole down this search, not a rabbit hole, for the past and all this other stuff. So after the Egyptians, after the pyramids, there was people think there's a great reset, and then after the Tartarian people built all these buildings and all these structures and stuff, there was another great reset. Do you think what is happening to us right now? All this crap that's happened in the past, and there's fixing to be a great reset to purge and clean and start again.
Do I
Donnie?
think that's what's happening now?
Yeah. Do you think that this is what happened back then? That
So
it went so far?
here's you're talking about two separate things. You're talking about natural disasters or cosmic events that reset compared to society resets. Do I think we are overdue for a stellar impact or a Earth impact? Oh gosh, yes. I mean, Yellowstone's 25,000 years overdue to explode. I mean, and that's a reset button. I mean, that is a complete and society reset button. The magma will cover the East Coast. The smoke will kill everybody west of there.
I guess what I'm saying is it's not.
But
I'm talking about the people, the reason, because the last one I saw, they had the orphans, the orphan buses, and all that stuff, and there was just this great reset, and then 30 years later, London was bustling. Like it was a ghost town, and then 30 years later, London was bustling with the same buildings that were still up.
yeah, so that's a society reset, and that is, yeah, London was a small scale, but if you want to talk like big scale, that would be the Roman Empire of the early or the late ADs, the reign of the Persians, the reign of Genghis Khan, somebody like Mao or Stalin or somebody like that. Those are the ones that have societal impact and are societal based. They're usually done from a degradation of morals. The society structure starts breaking down when there's lacks of morals. Do I think that's where we're close to? Oh gosh, I mean, we're driving down the path at 75 miles an hour and we don't have an e-brake.
That's the question. That's the answer I wanted, or that's the answer I was looking for. Is yes, the society is. I mean, how the hell can we live in a society like what's going on in Austin right now?
Right. Well, I've been actually giving a lot of thought to this subject, and we were talking a couple weeks ago about the Chinese spy balloon, and I brought up the subject about an EMP, right? So if an EMP cut off our electrical grid, if an EMP was to hit, it would take out basically every microchip. Your cell phone wouldn't work, your electrical grid wouldn't work, your vehicles, a lot of these vehicles wouldn't work, a spark plug wouldn't work, right? In that moment. So when you're talking about a great reset, to me, I'm thinking, well, man, that may not be such a bad thing for people to actually have to sit and communicate and talk and coordinate with each other and actually learn we all know how to communicate. We did that. We all hung out in the fucking woods. We all played in the neighborhood with our kids and went to each other's house and knocked on the door. Hey, can Rick come out and play? Can J-Love come out and play? We're going to play basketball. And we talked. We hung out at the creek. We did these things. This new generation, when you talk about a great reset, if something like that was to happen, that may not necessarily, barring the fact that if we all don't die, may not be such a bad thing because we learn to communicate with each other again. And when we go back to the phones and we go back to texting and, we all sit here, we have a text chain, right? We all text, we all talk, we all do the text chain. But when I want to talk about something, I pick up the phone and I go, hey, Coach, I'm thinking about this, and this. And we talk. And me and Coach can sit there and talk on the phone for 30 minutes, for 30 minutes and have a conversation. You can't, I'll call my 13-year-old daughter and I want to talk to her on the phone. I FaceTime her. And instead of talking to me, she puts her phone down and I stare at the ceiling. Yeah. And it's like talking to a shoebox. Yeah. Because she's 13, she doesn't know how to communicate. And so as bad as that may be, as big of an existential threat it would be to our country and our sovereignty, may not be the worst thing in the world to be able to go back to, hey,
Yeah.
send me a letter and put it in the fucking Pony Express. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I get it. I mean, the kicker is, so two things. One, it would take more than one EMP to knock our complete system out. Two, any electrical items that are not on will still function. The way an electromagnetic pulse works from when I was doing physics, which we know I've done, is the pulse goes through, and anytime there's a circuit that's open, it will short that circuit. So, but for it to be open, it has to take a electrical charge. So the pulse just changes the charge from like a let's say it's a 110, it'll change it up to like a 180 or a 260, and it'll blow the circuit. So it'll just pop that receiving board. But your phone's almost always on. Well, let's say your computer's off, then yeah, your computer will be fine. Or if your car's off, your car will be fine. That's why, and you can, it's so dumb. Like the first time I saw a movie that was like used an EMP, they were like, turn everything off, the EMP's about to hit. And I'm like, oh, actually, these people know what an EMP is. You know? So,
Oh, you mean like the Matrix?
Yeah.
but the first time I saw it, I don't think it was that way. They were like, an EMP's hitting.
I just think it's too close. That's the reason I wanted to call you guys tonight, because Russell, we were sitting here and me and Russell fixed to drink a beer, and I was going to sit him down to watch his first hockey game, force him to. And he showed me this video, and I was like, what the hell is going on? They're defunding the police, and all that means is the kids can go out and play. The cat's away, the kids can go out and play. Yeah. And how can you, as an adult, in you don't even have to be in power. You don't have to be the chief of police, councilman. You don't have to be those people. Just as a fucking adult, a 35-year-old adult, a 30-year-old adult with kids and everything, how can you look at this and say, this is okay? Let's keep defunding the police. This is okay. I'd rather this happen than to have protection by the police. J-Lo?
Because they want total government control. They don't want to have to depend on anybody else but the government. I mean, it's like, it's like this, we're the government, we're here to help you.
So what's that 32? So let me ask you this, J-Love. What's that 32-year-old, huh?
They are that far gone and that far mind fucked that they believe in that.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, and you can just say, yeah.
Yeah.
You got a 32-year-old mother, single mother, and she's up and down rallying, defund the police, yes, and that.
Probably got her baby.
She wants total government control, yet now she's getting, her kids are getting robbed, looted, whatever. I mean, she's in the middle of all this shit. That's what she wants. I don't understand how she would want total government control when the shit around her right now is going to hell in a handbasket.
Well, this has already been done, right? Throughout history, this has been done several times. And the biggest example I have for that is Venezuela. 30 years ago, Venezuela was the second biggest economy in the world. They had oil resources, they had democracy, they had protection with firearms. First thing they did was they basically made the federal government control all of industry. They took all the guns, and now here we are, fast forward 30 years later, and they're eating dogs in the street. And when you ask, all these youth think that socialism and that government control is everybody should have health care, everybody should have child care, everybody should get free college because government controls everything. Oh, that's great. But you don't realize that government's intentions are not good. It's just for complete control. Yeah. They want you waiting at a food pantry to get food. And Venezuela is the most best example of how that happens in the 21st century.
Yeah. My gig, when I was under contract with ICE and U.S. Marshals, my last gig, I came into contact with a lot of individuals, a lot of young men, a lot of young women from Venezuela. And during all that, when shit went south, and they were fleeing that because they didn't want any part of it. They wanted to pursue something better. So of course everybody, thinks that, America is the greatest, and we still are. by far, we are still the greatest nation on the planet. Uh, uh, Honestly, we're killing ourselves. We are doing this to ourselves, uh, and it's sad. It really is. I mean, those of us that are on this podcast, even those of us that are listening, know that we've got some young listeners too. I I just hope and pray that, if one of us can't reach you and one of us can't make you see the light, hopefully you've got, great role models as parents who are fucking instilling the proper things in you so that you go forward and help, help unfuck the fuck that we've created. And it's going to get scary. Austin has, like I said, since we're kind of pretty much on the topic of Austin, Texas. I mean, they've been in the shitter for quite some time. Now it's just getting even deeper.
Well,
So
they went
gonna,
and voted to defund the police a few months after George Floyd, and now what we're seeing is the result of, okay, we don't have as many officers, enough officers to go down there and stop this and quell this uprising. And it's the same thing that happened in Minneapolis. Now they're all going, what in the hell? Minneapolis is one of the least safest cities in the world.
right.
Chicago right behind it. But they voted to defund the police down here. And that's why I was talking about earlier in the question that I posed to you, J Love, is if you're one of those officers, I'm not
Yeah.
going down there. Hey, dude, I'm sitting in my patrol car and I'm going to listen to a podcast and hit my
Right.
vape, I guess, because I'm not going down there. I can't
Yeah.
defend myself. I could get killed down here. And if I
Yeah.
do act on this, what's going to happen? Well, hell, I'm going to get tarred and feathered, lose my job, lose my pension, possibly go to jail just
Mhm.
because you don't have my back and I can't follow the letter of the law. So
I
it is scary.
I have so many friends now that are still, you know, every morning putting on the badge, putting on the uniform, and I mean they are counting down the days because they are that close to retirement. But we keep in contact pretty regularly, and it's like, bro, I don't know how much more I can take, and it's sad because at the beginning of our relationship 20 years ago, it was a lot different. I love my job. I love what I do. I love helping people. I love serving and protecting. But again, it goes back to like what Donnie said. They no longer serve and protect. I mean, these individuals are now just glorified fucking babysitters. And then half the time, they've got to put up with just mountains of bullshit, whether it be paperwork or whether it be reports or whether it be false accusations or whether it be, actual true accusations. But I mean, you're gonna have to meet your maker one way or the other. And it's sad. It really is. I'm at a loss for words, honestly, because I mean, if we don't unfuck the fuck that we've created, I mean, we're host.
Well,
We're
you
host.
say we did not create this
No,
issue. We didn't.
but
We
I mean,
didn't.
collectively as a human race. I mean, if we cannot figure this shit out, and then it's
We talk about extraterrestrials and stuff. Maybe these aliens and these extraterrestrials are looking at us going, "Fuck these dumb motherfuckers! I don't want anything to do with that." And that's why they're
Yeah, they're
staying
basically
away.
saying, yeah, they ain't ready. They ain't
No,
ready.
I mean, the alien comes down from space and goes, "All right, who's the male and the female here?" Well, fuck, we don't know.
well, I think it goes even further than beyond the whole Great Reset. I mean, there's a project that's been going around called Project Bluebeam, and I mean, Donnie, have you heard of that?
Yeah, I'm aware of it. I think it's bullshit.
So, I mean,
I
it could.
debunked it. It could be real, but I don't think so.
Hey, speaking of something that on just a little bit of a different subject, have y'all heard about this website that's gained a lot of traction called Passport Bros?
I've
No.
heard of.
Have you heard of
And
it? So
yeah.
there's a movement going on in the United States and Canada that
Mhm.
basically a bunch of single men in the United States are basically refusing to date North American women because of their attitude toward men and toxic masculinity. So they're basically a website that they can go to different parts of the world, whether it be Asia, the Middle East, or Latin America, and they go and find them a spouse, or they get online and they meet these women and bring them up because
find
the
a fuck.
attitude. Yeah, I want a woman that is traditional, and So sorry, I went on a tangent there, but that's a real thing that's going on.
No, you can go get one of those women that wrap their head and shit. And all you got there is their eyes.
Yeah.
That's tradition.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, no, man. I wanted to call you guys up and talk a little bit about this. It really, when he showed me the video, it really shocked me. Like I never thought it would get there, but it has.
Well,
and for you people that don't believe that it's going to happen, and y'all don't think that it's going to affect you, and you don't give a shit, it's real. It's coming. It's just
a minor.
This is minor. It's
skirmish.
But it's like
if something really big happened in Austin, like really big, like a real riot or a real. Oh my God, there would be nothing to stop it.
I'm looking at it. It reminds me of Deion Sanders. I'm coming. You do what you want, say what you want, but I'm coming.
Yep.
Whatever you think's going on, I'm coming. It's coming. It's going to happen. And it scares the shit out of me.
Well, two things. One, you got to establish it's got to start local. So it starts at local and it moves its way up. But I think I think the left has overestimated how many dumb people there are. And dumb people are the people that literally sit around, watch TV, don't talk, don't look, don't explore. They take everything that is on the TV as word. And there's a lot of young people as well as old people. But I think they have overestimated how many of those people are. So we're starting to see the turn where every left city was defund. They're at that level now. Those cities have regressed, and they come back and said, all right, we gotta have some police, because when we call and nobody shows up, well, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's do this. The emergency. Thank you guys for being on here. I wanted to get this out quick and have people listen to it, and then we get a couple of days to kind of let it ingest, and then we come back Wednesday. We can hit on it again, see what happened, see if they did anything about it, or if they didn't do anything about it. Talk about it again. But before we leave, though, let's have one. Let's just do one of these before we leave, so we can laugh at something. Russell, you got the FMK?
I got the FMK. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is a special emergency edition of Fuck, Marry, Kill. If people that are listening don't know what FMK is, it's Fuck, Marry, Kill.
One of our favorite games.
It is it's one of my favorite games. It's not the game that what's his name? Leo.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You screwed up the joke.
I screwed up a joke. Damn it. So we're gonna go female MMA fighters. All right. We're gonna go.
Okay.
Paige Van Zant. Misha Tate. Gina Carano.
Oh wow.
J-Love. You know all three of those?
Oh yes.
Gina Carano.
God, Gina Carano is so
Miesha.
She is so hot, and she's got such worldly views. It's just, ooh. She's got her head on her shoulders, man.
Who's that, Gina Carano?
Yeah. She's beautiful in that smile. Okay.
What?
Misha. I think I'm
go to images.
I'm killing Misha. I'm gonna fuck Paige, and I'm gonna marry Gina. That's a hard one though, man. I don't want to kill any of them.
Who's the third one?
Who you got there?
So there's Paige Van
No,
Zandt,
that's Misha Barton, Misha Tate.
Oh.
and Misha Tate.
Donnie?
I'm going a little different than J-Lo. I'm gonna kill Gina. She's just a little too thick for me. I'm afraid if we started getting aggressive, she might hurt me. And I don't want to get choked out. That's not my job. That's not my job. I'm gonna bang Misha Tate. She seems like she's got that perfect thickness. But we all know my obsession with blondes, so I'm marrying Paige Van Zandt, and I'm gonna bang that shit every night.
Yeah.
We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight.
Oh no.
Mhm.
I've got Paige is my one night stand. She's gonna get it really, really, really often. I'm gonna marry Misha, and then that other chick can go kick rocks. Yeah, I like Misha. She got a big old nose.
All right, so I'm watching Coach over here Google Gina Carano. I think he would want to change his answer if he really looked at the images of Gina Carano. But Donnie, to your point, Gina Carano was also in the new version of American Gladiators. She was, but she was also in The Mandalorian. If you've seen that,
She's made a couple B movies too, man.
yes,
Actually,
She's a beast.
She's a beast.
She's been in Deadpool both times.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow, she
Yeah.
is hot.
Yes, she's conservative.
Oh, she was the dude in the chicken Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I just said that.
So
That's why I said, "Ooh, that she was the dude."
I am marrying Gina Carano. Absolutely, all day.
Because she
every
looks
day.
more like a dude than anything.
Well, to each their own. I am going to, as much as I hate this because I think she's beautiful, and I follow her on TikTok. Paige Van Zandt, even though she's a short little spinner, beautiful, I'm going to have to kill her. But Misha Tate, her body, oh my God, even though she kind of does have a big ass nose, I'm going to bang her, just flip her over on her stomach and just take her to downtown.
Dude, I don't mind the big nose, bro. I mean, I think it looks hot.
Well, my penis isn't big enough to get around that, so
Oh, here we go. Jesus Christ.
Woo!
Oh, here we go. Guys, I appreciate you being on the emergency whiskey and wisdom after dark. We'll be back Wednesday to go over this. I'm gonna upload it. We're gonna put it on Spotify and on YouTube tonight. Make sure you guys listening, go to our YouTube channel, please. Subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. And then whoever else you know, grab their phone and hit subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can see them all. You can hear them all. And then you can comment. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. We'll do anything we can to make this fun. And if you want to be on, let us know. We'll have you on also. It's only a little Zoom call. It's no big deal. Come on and be a part of it.
I think we're going to have a special guest this Wednesday.
We're going to have I think we got a couple of calling guests this Wednesday, which is good. It's, we're going to hear from them, see what they got to say. But
apparently these people are on the opposite side of spectrum.
We finally get I think we got one person on the left and the other LBGTQAI
plus.
I've got to get it right because I don't want to offend them on our show, even though we might.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get the letters right. J-Lo, I can't hear you. What?
I said leave that to me.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, we're going to have a couple of people Wednesday. Make sure you go to Spotify, YouTube, subscribe, like, and share, please. And until next time, guys, thank you for being on. We'll see you. I guess we'll see you. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Joe's got something. Joe's got something.
Never mind.
In regards to this whole defund the police thing, just real quick, and I'm speaking for the city of Austin here. City of Austin response time 2 years ago, 3 years ago used to be 2 minutes, 3.5 minutes tops. Now they're upwards of 12 to 17 minutes just to get to a call. And that's if they get to the call.
Yeah. Hope you're not having a fucking stroke.
Again, we're going to go over it again on Wednesday. We wanted to bring it to the light today. See what happens. We got 2 days to soak it in, see what they do or don't do about it. They might not do shit about it, and just let it go. We can talk about it Wednesday. Again, I want to leave you with one last thing. because I want it to stick in your brain. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Go to Spotify and subscribe. We need it. We want it. We love you. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. Guys, I'll talk to you guys later next Wednesday. Bye.
Later, buds.